Okay, quick question. How much of your life would you say is based on facts versus whatever story your brain decided to run with?
We're starting like this today. Okay.
Totally. Because my brain will take one detail and turn it into a full documentary narrated by whatever undiagnosed mental disorder I have.
Girl, same. No evidence, just vibes, just vibes.
Right? Exactly. And that's how people end up believing things that are not even remotely true.
Which feels relevant.
This, that, and the trouble, all the parts we tried to hide. Every wrong turn, every rumble, put a little truth in our stride. No perfect script, just crooked light, shining on the darkest nights. 'Cause there's always more to the story, and we're setting the record right.
Welcome to This, That, and the Trouble, where we take situations, decisions, questionable life choices,
And fully overanalyze them like our lives depend on it.
or like we're trying to figure out how we got ourselves into these situations in the first place.
Because honestly, sometimes the story that gets told is not the whole story.
Not even close.
And today,
Oh, today we're setting the record straight.
yes, girl, finally.
So, if you've ever had a situation where people got the completely wrong idea,
Or only heard one side.
yeah, this is for you.
Now, let's get into it.
Wait, I have to tell you something because this is starting to get out of hand.
Girl, I am already concerned. What happened?
So, I actually just talked about this on the other episode of No Hard Feelings, kinda,
Mhm.
where I woke up the other morning about a week ago, and apparently at some point I wrote myself a note and it said, "White and black dogs are square now."
Er, Okay, what? What?
Exactly. Exactly. No context, no explanation, just that.
Okay, I'm gonna hold your hand, Jojo, when I ask you this. Are you okay, sweetie pie? You
I
okay?
mean, I mean, clearly not. That's the problem, right?
So, like, what does that even mean?
I don't know, girl. I do not know. But I apparently felt strongly enough about it to document it like it was breaking news.
I cannot with you today.
That's what I'm dealing with. My brain just goes rogue.
Oh, I know what you mean, and that's actually kind of terrifying.
Right? Which is why I actually started using these dopamine patches. They're made by Veliza. I don't know if you've seen any of the commercials or TikToks about them, but
Yeah.
have you? Yes, they are amazing because let me tell you, when my brain is actually cooperating, I'm not out here leaving myself cryptic ass messages like I'm in a psychological thriller.
Okay. Wait. Do they actually help? Do they work?
They do. Yes. Like, okay, I'm way more focused, less
Mm.
scattered, and I don't feel like my brain just clocks out randomly.
Okay. Well, you know how my brain is. It's neurospicy, so I might need I might need some of that, girl.
Right? I will send you the link and I'm also going to put it in the show notes too in case anyone else's brain is, doing their own little off Broadway disaster.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, Shiri, I have been so excited. Can you believe we're finally doing our very first episode?
I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I mean, it just feels so natural, you know? So
It
natural,
does.
so real.
Right, right. I know. And I just love this whole concept. And I think that people are going to really latch on to this because who doesn't want to, set their record straight about some things in their life?
Yeah, I mean, totally, completely. And I mean, this is why we have these experiences to talk about them many moons later and laugh about them. Sometimes we'll cry,
Mhm.
but hopefully more hopefully more laughter than tears. But
Right.
all are welcomed. All are welcome.
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes, that's just what makes the story, but we get through it, we live to tell about it, and then here we are. So
Here
so
we are.
I am on pins and needles because I know when we talked the other day, you said that you had a doozy of a story for me, and I cannot wait. I'm ready to hear it.
Okay. Well, I have gone to the dating archives of Never Year and
Okay.
pulling this story out, just blowing the dust off of this one. And the year was 2000 something. God, who knows? The year was 2007. Upon the hills of Athens, Georgia. It's a dating story, JoJo. It's a dating story
Okay.
about just a setup gone wrong. So
The best kind, right?
yes. First of all, I'm going to disclaimer this by these stories are for entertainment purposes only. The characters' names may be changed or they may be just completely anonymous individuals.
Definitely.
It's left up to someone's interpretation, but yeah, here we are. So, one of my best friends, we've been best friends for a long time now. He's like my brother because we've known each other for God since we were probably about 8 years old. So at this point, we're both in undergrad. I'm up at a huge school, party school, and he is at a private school here in Atlanta, an HBCU. He's at Morehouse. So we keep in touch. And a little sidebar. So we're both one of the girls. He's very manly gay, but he's one of the girls. So
Okay, okay.
he
Yeah.
tells me, we'll call him Mo. Mo tells me, Shuri, there's this guy. First of all, Mo is a classically trained opera singer. So he's like super accomplished,
Ooh.
has traveled around the world doing opera performances. And so he tells me about one of his classmates that's either in like choir with him or the glee club. And he's like, you have to meet this man. Let's call him Adam. I hope that I can remember these character names throughout this
I'll
story.
remember. I'll remember.
Okay. So Mo's like, you have to meet Adam. He's so handsome. He's got this really deep voice where it just sounds like it couldn't be coming out of his body, but he's just such a handsome man. I'm gonna give him your
Okay.
number. So, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's college. Just try some stuff out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mo gives Adam my number. He calls me. He's like, hey, it's the Shiri. I can't even, his voice is deeper than that. It's like, hey. Like really a voice for radio and radio only. And like singing,
Yeah.
like I'm John Henry. Like very much so like, wow, whatever cartoon he's singing in, I want to watch that. So anyway, we're vibing. We get to know each other. I come into town. I come to Atlanta. It's like an hour and a half drive from Athens, and we go on a date. He picks me up. He picks me up in like his pickup truck, which is really, I'm a Southern girl, so if you've got a truck, like, oh yeah, that's the way that you win a woman over. So I think
Mm-hmm.
we go to like the drive-in movie or something, the stuff that you do in the early 2000s, and it was like a great date. Come to think of it, I don't know if that was his car or his granddaddy's car. His granddaddy's truck. This plays a part. Don't forget about that, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
either way it goes, it's a great date, whatever. So then I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna explore this option with Adam. So, I tell my best friend, the same best friend that I have now, because we were college roommates.
Mhm.
And so I tell her, okay, I think I'm going to invite him up here. I think it's going to be great. So she's like, ooh. So I've told like all my friends, they're excited to see this Morehouse man come up there and visit me. My best friend makes herself scarce for the weekend. I bake
Mhm.
brownies, which is like a whole thing. And these are not illegal brownies. These are like actual real brownies that like I put cream cheese icing on the top. Like they're just so
Okay.
fancy and so cute. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make him brownies. They're like, ooh, girl, you baking for him? I'm like, yeah, because y'all know I don't ever like anybody in real life. So I'm going to try to like this man. So he
Mhm.
drives up. I think he gets there late. We end up going to get sushi at like this really fancy restaurant, fancy in the 2000s when you're a college student. So, anything that totals $30 total, that's
Oh yeah.
fancy dinner. So we end up
Right.
going to the place. We sit at the bar, the sushi bar. We're having great conversation. I remember we ordered for dessert these tempura Oreos, these deep fried Oreos, and they're just so good and yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
And I'm just raving about how we have to try them. So here comes the bill. And I'm like, okay, this is nice.
Oh no.
The bill comes. He starts to pat around his hips like, oh, okay,
Oh.
you're not gonna believe this. What? I forgot my wallet. And I'm like, okay, well, what the hell we gonna do? Because
Right.
how are you gonna pay? So luckily, I had my little Bank of America debit card that had my picture on it. So I'm already irritated by him because I'm just like, ill, like
Yeah.
you took me
Yeah.
out on this date. Like now you somehow forgotten your wallet. So whatever. I'm like, let's just continue on with this evening, this day, this weekend extravaganza. So I'm like,
Mhm.
well, I made brownies. So when we get back to my place, so we can have brownies before we like go to bed. He's like, okay, that's great. We're downstairs. I cut the brownies in like little squares. He gets one. Girl, he drops the damn brownie face down on the floor and makes a mess everywhere. I don't know if he was nervous, whatever. So that's strike two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm just super irritated because now you're creating a mess for me to clean up.
Uh-huh.
Right. So then we get to the other, the adult portion.
Right.
And it was trash. He was trash. It was
No.
absolutely awful, horrible experience. 0 out of 5 stars. Would not
Right.
recommend. And
Oh God.
I didn't even think that I was gonna give this guy a chance because he was long distance, whatever. But
Yeah.
Mo just ranted and raved about him, like critically acclaimed. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I'll try it. But I regret that. So
Yeah.
I don't count him.
I wouldn't either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, at least you would think he'd have like one redeeming quality to save the evening, and he literally had none.
Yeah, he had none. So I think I actually made up something because I think he was supposed to stay like the whole weekend, and I made something up to like, you gotta go, you gotta get out of here because I gotta leave.
Yeah.
So I was bad in my college days to get in my car and I like I'm driving somewhere and just drive around a corner and wait and then come back to my house. I was real bad about shit like that, JoJo, or like, you know. Whatever, you're hanging out, you do
Yeah.
adult stuff, and I'm like, so what are you about to do? And they'd be like,
Right.
well, what do you mean? I'd be like, no, what are you about to do? Because you got to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, oh, girl,
Oh.
I had forgotten about that, but here we are.
Now, have you ever talked to Mo? Like, did you ever tell Mo about what happened?
Yes, I told Mo, and Mo acted like he didn't know that man was a broke bitch, and that pissed me off. Yeah, I talked to Mo. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna call Mo this weekend and be like, "Hey, you remember when you set me up with that guy that had trash? You know what?" He's gonna be like, "Well, I didn't try him, but I had to." That's what he's gonna say. Well, I didn't know I didn't try him. And I'm like, because if you did, then that's a whole and another thing. That'd be a whole
Right?
additional thing. My
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, traumatizing.
Yeah, it was awful. I was like, I cannot believe I wasted my time and my chastity. Oh, this. Oh my god.
Right. Well, so we whenever we tell these stories now, we have to at least, kind of decide, what did we either learn from it, or is it just one of those experiences we're going to try to forget or what? So, yeah, at the end of our stories, we have these little questions we want to ask each other. So I'm just going to ask you, for this whole situation that happened with Adam, what, if any, would you say was the warning sign?
First, JoJo, I was about to say, now who the hell is Adam? Because I had forgotten that's a name. I forgot that's the name I gave him. Look, maybe he wasn't the problem. Maybe the problem is me, and it's always been me.
Never,
Never.
never.
The warning sign, I think, was, you know, I think the warning sign was probably the day. You know what? I'm just now remembering too, because he had emailed me one time, girl, and his email was a woman's name, but it was like a woman's name from like not the Gilded Age or like Golden Ages, but it was from a different generation. I said, "Well, whose
Oh.
email is this?" And he was like, "Well, that's my grandma's email. I just used my You know what? That should have been full stop for me. That should have been,
Yeah,
but
right.
no, I'm just continuing on. Like that's normal. That's not normal.
Yeah, because everybody uses their grandma's email.
You using Meemaw. Like, why are you using Meemaw's email? That's weird. In retrospect, that is so weird.
It is really weird.
You don't even have to pay for email, especially back then.
Right,
Like, no,
right.
that's, you know what? Yeah. Okay. That one's on me. Yep. Players fuck up too sometimes,
That's
apparently.
that's true. That's true. Now, even though you did kind of already explain this, but like while this date was happening and just going wrong every which way, what were you like saying to yourself? What were you telling yourself in your head?
I think I was just thinking I have to see this through because,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was widely known um around campus to just be like a no nonsense kind of
Mm-hmm.
girl, and like I'll pick you up and drop you off whenever I see fit,
Yeah.
pick you up and put you down. But I was like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, no, I've hyped this man up so much, and I've hyped up his deep voice. Like, people are gonna want to know, my girlfriends are gonna want to know on Monday what happens. I'm like, okay. And there's a saying that we have up at Georgia with like Georgia football, and it's finish the drill. So I'm like, I gotta finish the
Mm,
drill. I gotta see this
yeah.
one through. I'm not gonna give up. But I guess I kind of did give up because I did cut the weekend short.
Well,
But
hey,
yeah.
no one is blaming you for
Mm,
that. Like that's
thank you.
totally understandable. Would you say that the experience taught you anything?
Yes. Okay. This is what it taught me. It taught me that the mind is a very powerful thing, and you can push things out of your memory. At least for almost 2 decades. You can push it
Yeah,
out. You can't suppress that. And
that's
you
true.
can, yeah. So, I don't ever want us to get boggled down in, oh, these bad experiences, they just made me into who I am. No. No, they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to, because ain't no way I'm gonna let this, wallet forgetting, brownie dropping, trash dingling, deep voice having ass man change the trajectory of my life.
Right.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't get to have that kind of power. Yeah.
No.
Right. Wow. That's a great story. I love it. I mean, it's a terrible
It's
story, but
right.
it's
It's
a
a great
great
and bad.
story.
That was a good bad one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
girl. So it's your turn.
Okay. I I first of all, I need to mentally prepare you for this
Ooh.
story
Ooh.
because it has everything. Okay. There's friendship, betrayal, alcohol, bad decisions,
Mm.
and one of the most unhinged things I have ever experienced in my entire life.
Girl, did Tyler Perry write this? Girl.
No, but he could have. Let- so, and I'm just gonna warn you, like, there's a lot to this story, but I like kind of made myself little notes just to keep it so that it doesn't go completely off the rails.
I'm actually
But there's
scared. I'm scared to hear this.
well, I was scared living it. Okay. Okay. So I had this best friend, Tiffany,
Mm-hmm.
and we had been best friends since 8th grade, like
Mm.
ride or die. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And right after high school, we both worked at the same grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she started dating this guy who worked overnight at the store. And I did not know this man. I mean, I'd only met him like once or twice, but he was dangerous. Okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
bad news. You just right away, you could tell you got a vibe from him. And
Mm.
I was like genuinely scared for her. Okay. He like at one point he would say things to her like, I hope your mom has a black dress. Like,
What?
yeah, like it was really, really bad. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So, of course, she just kind of wouldn't listen about it, but I was so genuinely afraid for her that I went and actually talked to her mom because I didn't know what
Yeah.
else to do.
Right.
And now Tiffany, she was upset at first, but she actually got over it pretty quickly because she knew that I did it because I cared.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's not forget what a great friend I was, okay? so
Right. Right.
so this happens, we move past it, and not too long after, I start dating a guy from work. He was in a different department,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll call him Dan, okay? Now, Dan was a total loser, okay? Big time, big time loser. He was cute, he had beautiful blue eyes, and he always had
Mm-hmm.
weed. So
Oh my
that
gosh.
was,
This character development is wild.
well, we all three work at the same store, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one night we decide, the three of us, so me, Tiffany, and Dan, we decide that we're gonna go get a motel room with a jacuzzi. And
Fancy.
right, well, yeah. So it was, backwoods West Virginia motel. I think the room cost like under $50. It was, it was
Only the best of the best.
exactly total first class.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he's old enough to buy alcohol, and like I said, he always had weed. So there's
Mm-hmm.
drinking, there's weed. We have the jacuzzi in the room, and Tiffany and I are like, I think 18 years old at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a total lightweight, so I pass out. Like I had laid on the bed at one point and just completely passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wake up at some point because the music was so loud that I remember laying there thinking, oh my God, we might get kicked out because the music's so loud. And so I sit up, and it takes everything in me because I am so trashed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sit up, and it takes me a good minute to figure out what I'm looking at. And what I was looking at was Tiffany and Dan having sex in the jacuzzi.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Tyler wrote this. Tyler wrote this one. Oh,
Okay, well, this is just act one. Okay?
excuse me?
Sure. There is so much more to this story. You have no idea.
Oh my
It
God.
gets so much worse and so much creepier. Okay, so like first of all, 40-year-old JoJo would have flipped that entire jacuzzi
Right.
over.
You just light that motherfucker on fire.
But not teenage JoJo. Teenage JoJo was built different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now they had no idea that I saw because, they were busy.
Oh my God.
And but the next day, because I didn't drive there, Tiffany had driven us, so I was
Mhm.
kind of stuck. And so the
Mm.
next day, Tiffany realizes that I know, because it's just the tension is there, right?
Right.
So she ends up coming over to my apartment that night, and she's apologizes like crazy. And I forgave her immediately.
Mhm.
Immediately.
Mm.
Because I didn't care about Dan. He was a loser.
Yeah.
She was my best friend from 8th grade. Like, he meant nothing to me. And this was someone I cared very, very deeply for.
Right. Bros before
So,
hoes.
exactly, exactly. So I'm like, she's apologizing. She's owned it. Like, it is what it is. It was
Yeah.
a blip on the radar, and we'll move past this.
Yeah.
So fast forward like a year or two, okay?
Mhm.
I introduce her to this guy, and we'll call him Tyrone.
Okay.
And
Well, you know, JoJo, I know you not. Wait, I gotta pause. Okay. Because
go ahead,
every
go ahead.
because any and every Black person that's listening to this podcast right now just knows when you hear that name Tyrone, girl, you don't have to say shit else. But
Yep,
continue, please.
yeah. So who you're picturing in your head? Yes, that is what this is what
Yep.
this is Tyrone. But I will say he okay. So I knew him just through mutual friends, and
Uh-huh.
he was super sweet, funny. Was a really, really nice guy.
Hmm.
And when I introduced Tiffany and Tyrone, they hit it off like immediately. And so they started dating for like quite a few months. And
Mm.
then one day, now my group of friends at the time, we loved to go to karaoke bars back then. And so we were all at this karaoke bar, but Tiffany couldn't make it. And so I'm sitting there, and Tyrone, he comes to me and he says he really needs some advice. And he tells me that he has feelings for someone else, but he doesn't want to hurt Tiffany because he really cares about her, and she's a really sweet girl.
Hmm.
And so I'm sitting there like, just be honest with her, don't lead her on, like giving, decent advice.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, I didn't realize, I had zero clue that he was talking about me, that I was the one he had these feelings for. And I was so oblivious. Like, because he had never even given me any inkling that would make me think that.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but so I don't know this. Like, I have not put this together yet.
Hmm.
So a couple days later, we're all at a party, which is, so one of the people, there was two guys of our friend group that were roommates,
Hmm.
and they were having a party at their apartment. So we're all there, all of us are there, and Tyrone is the drunkest I have ever seen him in my life.
Mm.
And whenever we would get together at these parties, all of us, we love to play cards and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So we're sitting around this table, and Tiffany is across from me, and Tyrone is kind of like catty corner to me,
Uh-huh.
and he keeps putting his hand on my leg. So this is when I start putting the pieces together, and I'm like, oh no.
Right. But look,
And
me,
so
the Scorpio side, I'm like, oh, but yes. Like,
So I'm sitting there, and I'm horrified because my best friend is sitting across from me, and her boyfriend
yeah.
is, feeling up my leg, and I keep
Yeah.
moving his hand. Like, every time he does it, I like throw his hand off of me,
Right.
and he keeps doing it. So finally, I say, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, because no, normally she would always like come with me, like, to girl talk.
Right.
And so I'm thinking she's gonna follow me, and then I'm just gonna tell her everything at this point.
Hmm.
And now this, you have to understand, all happened like seconds within each other, like boom, 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 boom. Okay. I
OMG.
go, yeah. Oh, I know. I go in the bathroom. There's a knock on the door. I open the door. It's not Tiffany, it's Tyrone. He pushes in, kisses me, knock, knock, knock. The door opens. It's Tiffany.
Oh my God.
I look guilty as fuck. Okay.
Right.
But
Right.
I was so like, oh my God, I wanted to evaporate. Okay.
Oh
So that
God.
was act two. Okay.
Oh.
There's one more act coming and it's going to you're gonna flip out. Okay.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
So
wait a minute. Hold on.
yes, yes.
All I have is water right here, but I wish I had something stronger. Let me just take a little sip, okay? Mm. Okay, JoJo. I guess I'm ready. I guess.
Okay, okay. So I really had to go to the bathroom. I had to pee really bad. So I pee and they are both out of the bathroom at this point. So, and I'm in there telling myself like, okay, I just need to talk to her. I need to, set this straight with her so that she knows I did not initiate any of this.
Right.
And so I come out and she is gone. Okay. And which I don't blame her because, it looked really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I had been drinking, so I couldn't drive, and this is
Yeah.
before, like, everyone had cell phones,
Right.
so I really just, again, couldn't do much, so I'm like in my mind, I'm like, "Okay, tomorrow, that's my goal for the whole day is to fix this with her, like, so that she knows what really happened."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the guys that lived in this apartment, he and I, we were, friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And,
Friends that are friendly.
yes, arousal acquaintances.
Oh, I like that one now, girl.
So the plan was already had been from the whole night that I was going to stay there that night with him.
Yeah.
So when the party starts to die down, which it did very quickly after, Tiffany left, um, Tyrone was so drunk that nobody wanted to let him drive home, understandably so.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they told him, like, dude, you're parking it on the couch tonight. They took his keys, all that, responsible
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So he passes out on the couch, the roommate goes to bed, and my friend, we'll call him Nick. Nick and I go to his room. And now, even though all this stuff had happened, we're young and we've been drinking, so we just get down to business.
Right.
And
Nick with the
yes,
fill in the blank.
yes,
Nick with the
which
good.
which I will say was not trash.
Well, that's nice. I like that. I love that for you.
Me too. Me
Really
too.
love that for you.
Because they're sometimes they're hard to find.
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to confirm or deny.
So we are, this had just started, and now mind you, it was pitch black in this room, and
Mhm.
we're whatever, and after maybe a minute or two, I feel a second set of hands on
Oh,
my
girl.
body.
Uh, oh my
I'll give you three
god.
guesses who it was.
I already told you how I felt about that damn name. I already told you how I felt about that name, Tyrone.
Wasn't there a song, an Erica Badu song,
Yes.
Tyrone?
Yes. And the craziest part is in that song, like we all hated Tyrone when Tyrone was just a trifling ass man's friend. But somehow Tyrone really caught that stray. Oh my God. This must have been that Tyrone girl.
Oh,
Yuck.
yes. Okay. So Nick and I both, we're like, we immediately like, get the fuck out of
Like,
here. Like,
get out of here. You need
yeah,
to leave.
right. So he leaves. He doesn't say a word. He just leaves. Now, Don't ask why. I don't know why. You know what? Bad decisions were being made across the board this night. Okay, we try again, Nick and
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
and the same thing happens again.
Okay, so clearly Tyrone, this is not Tyrone's first time trying to join in. 'Cause this is he's way too comfortable. He's like, oh, this is
So
part of my wheelhouse.
right, we are just horrified at this. So now, this time when he leaves, like by this time, my eyes had adjusted a little bit to the darkness.
Mhm.
And when he was going to leave, because we're yelling at him to leave, I could tell, I could tell that he bent down and like picked something up off the floor. But I didn't know what. I didn't even care. I didn't think about it, whatever. So at this point, Nick and I are just like, you know what? Let's just cuddle and call it a day.
Mhm.
So
Oh my
we go to sleep and we wake up in the morning. All of my clothes were gone.
god. Girl,
Gone.
what?
They
I
were
beg your
gone.
pardon. I beg your
That's
pardon.
what that's
Oh.
what Tyrone had picked up off the floor was my clothes and took them out in the living room with him. And not only did he just take them out there, he folded them and then he slept with them like the big spoon.
Wait, I got a question. Okay, so I'm assuming when he grabbed your clothing, did he also grab your panties, girl? Because,
Everything.
girl, my God,
Everything.
Tyrone, Tyrone, Tyrone.
Tyrone. Okay, so at this point, so the roommate goes and gets my clothes, and at this point, I'm like, I need to get out of here, but I don't want to like see him, because it
Right?
just was so awkward.
Yeah.
Well, it was unavoidable, and
Mm,
I kind of was run smack in him in the hallway as I'm trying to leave. And
mm,
here's the thing, like when I looked at him, I could tell for one that he was like, oh, he might have been even still just been drunk because
mm-hmm,
he was so hungover and he looked like hell. And
mm-hmm.
but he looks at me and he goes, "Just so you know, I remember everything that happened last night." And I'm like,
Oh.
I go, "Yeah, so do I." And no, I bolt. I'm out of there, and I had tried multiple times to talk to Tiffany. I called her, left messages, all that. She has never spoken to me again, not once.
And
And
it was her man that was the slut.
yes, and she stayed with him for years.
Mm,
And so the only thing that I'm wondering is if in his mind he really thinks something happened and he like confessed to her and she forgave him but
mm-hmm.
doesn't forgive me even though it never happened. Yet let's remember she had sex with my boyfriend in front of me and I forgave her, but
Mm.
I didn't even sleep with her boyfriend and she won't
No.
forgive me. So
Oh.
yeah,
Well, this was a
that's the
real brain teaser. Um, look, let's just
I
cut
bet
to the
you
chase.
weren't
Let's just,
expecting that.
yeah, we're going straight to the questions because
Yeah.
I can't take any more of that story because that's crazy as hell. JoJo, what was a warning sign for you?
Well, clearly there were several.
we
If
will
I
we the delegates will allow two. We will allow two. I'm just kidding. You can say as many as you want, baby girl.
um, probably the part where my best friend had sex with my boyfriend in a
Mm,
jacuzzi in front
yeah,
of me, and I was like, you know what? Growth, forgiveness, we're fine.
right. Oh yeah, I don't care about him. No, I don't care about him. I care
Right.
about you.
Right, right.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a big flaming one. That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Okay, now what were you telling I feel like this has to be three different parts. What were you telling yourself when all the so what were you telling yourself in act 1? What were you telling yourself in act 2? And then the big
Yeah.
whammy part, act 3, what were
You
you
know,
yelling at yourself?
right, right. Um, so I think obviously act 1, I thought, this is just people make mistakes. We're all
Mhm.
human. And this was not, it's not like Dan was like some love of my life, like I couldn't have cared less about him. So that's kind of
Mhm.
my thought there. Act 2, um, I, yeah, that was, I guess, you know, I think because I knew that my intentions were good, that
Yeah.
I always assumed everything would work out and that, the truth will prevail. And sometimes we learn in life that that just doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
we don't always get the opportunity. So, yeah, that's kind of, I can think for act 2 and act 3, that was my thought process there.
Yeah. I'm scared to ask, um, w what did all this teach you?
Well,
Let's, we got the biggest rating that we can put on this is like an E for explicit. So please keep that in
yeah,
mind. We cannot,
yeah.
don't make our ears bleed because we just want to know, like, morally what it taught you, not if there were certain things, actions that you
Oh, yeah.
learned. We don't want to know about that, JoJo. That's got to be like a paid only episode or something. Like,
Yeah,
people got to
for
pay for
sure.
that.
Yeah. Um, so I think that what it taught me was that intentions do not matter as nearly as much as what it looks like to everyone
Hmm.
else.
Mhm.
Um, again, just like just because you have a good heart or that you wouldn't do something to somebody doesn't mean that they won't do it to you.
Mm.
And that was the hardest part for me, but to accept. But it's definitely what I learned.
Yeah. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, were we even friends for real, or were we just friends out of
Yeah,
like convenience or consequence, where it's like, oh, well, we ride the same bus, or oh, we're in most of the same
right.
classes together. So we'll just be besties, because it's like, you've
Yeah.
known me longer than this man. Why are you not communicating with me? Especially after you did it with my man. Well, I'm in the room. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's wild. And then but then it also makes you want to unpack other stuff. Like, is there a touch of narcissism in her personality?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like,
Right.
now in our mature, like, we've survived trauma, so now we analyze everything, right? Because we're elevated. This is where we are. We're millennials. We elevate. We
Yeah.
we mentally unpack. We're millennials. So
Yeah.
now at this age, we're like, okay, what was really going on with her? So it's like,
Mhm.
one of those bless her heart moments. Well,
Yeah.
she didn't have the tools, and maybe she has a personality disorder. Bless her heart, because we can't. There's
Yeah.
only so long that we can take on this and like bear the brunt of like whatever, and like hate ourselves, because it's like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Why don't you talk to me? I'm hating myself
Yeah.
because you won't talk to me. And it's like, okay, well, thank you, Lord, for removing this person from my life, because
Yeah.
her energy is weird, and she clearly doesn't know how to be a friend. Absolutely not a girl's girl anyway. So toodle do,
Mhm.
sweetie pie.
That's true. That is very, very true. And I think that's something too that I don't think I'm alone in that, where when you've been friends with somebody for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that you blur the line of thinking that this person is like a ride or die for you just because they have time in.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that doesn't always correlate, at all.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know, sometimes women get funny when there's penises involved too. And it's like, do you realize how
Yeah.
many penises there are around the world? Like, girl, do not trip over this one. What are you, girl? Ew.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, girl, here's the thing. We can sit here and analyze this all day.
Oh, okay. And we will.
But at some point, the time runs out.
And that's usually when people make their worst decisions.
Or their most interesting ones.
I mean, same thing, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, very true. All right, so those are our stories for this first bonus episode.
Yes, indeed. And hey, whether you agree, disagree, or you're currently questioning your own life choices
We support you,
emotionally.
not legally.
Oh, no, never legally. Never.
If you made it this far, make sure you're following on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.
Because there's plenty more where that came from.
And if you have a situation you want us to break down,
Listen, send them in. We love a good dilemma.
we really do.
Girl, probably a little too much.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. That might be a problem.
Yes, we will definitely unpack that later.
Until next time,
Please try to make good decisions, y'all.
or at least the interesting ones.
Yeah, honestly, interesting is better. Okay, but wait.
What?
Would you would you do it again?
Oh God, no. my situation, no, never. But
Okay.
what about you? Your turn. Would you do it again?
Oh, girl. That's a resounding fuck no. Well, maybe if I knew what was going to happen, I'd have my way. So, you know what? Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I don't even blame you. Awesome. Well, this wraps up our very first bonus episode. This was so much fun, and I am loving that we get to do this now every month.
Yes, absolutely. Super pumped. So excited.
Yeah. So definitely tune in next month, and we'll keep telling these crazy stories and setting the record straight. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya. Love ya.
So here's to the breakups that built our voice, the jobs we left, the almost choice, the days that felt like wasted time that turned into the perfect line. We don't rush the lesson anymore. We let the silence speak some more. Every scar a secret door. Opening this, that, and the trouble. All the parts we tried to hide. Every wrong turn, every rumble. Put a little truth in our stride. No perfect script, just crooked light. Shining on the darkest nights. 'Cause there's always more to the story. And we're setting the record right.